Aboriginals.
Hey guys, we're in talk mode. Today's a bit of a random one. I have a question for you. Are you a prepper? Would you consider yourself to be a prepper? Now, when I say the word prepper, the image in your head might be some guy sitting in a bunker with 2 years worth of food, or just people who are just waiting for doomsday to happen. If you watch that, what was it called, Doomsday Preppers on National Geographic, that's normally the image that people uh, associate with preppers, like conspiracy theorists, and tinfoil hat wearing people. But really, that's not what a prepper is. The word prepper literally means someone who prepares for something. It could be anything. And the question is, are you a prepper? Do you, for example, in your car, have jump leads, first aid kit, maybe a high vis, I don't know, antifreeze thing for your windshield, and a scraper, and I don't know, some tools? Do you have that in your car? You're a prepper. Do you, sometimes fill the pantry, have some extra food so that if you couldn't go out, or you are in a lockdown, or food runs out, well, or money runs out, you got some food, you can survive for a week or two. You're a prepper. And the thing is, after this pandemic hit, being a prepper seems practical. You saw everyone queuing up for toilet roll and whatnot. So if there is shortages, what's the harm of having a little bit extra tucked away in the house to prepare for a situation where those things are not readily available? Or maybe you're a prepper because you do the dumb thing in finance right now where they say, your savings should be like 3 months wages. That should be your emergency fund. Do you do that? Have you got an emergency fund? Well, you're a prepper because you are prepared for an eventuality where finances become tight. Maybe you lose your job, or something goes wrong, or whatever, or some unexpected expense turns up. Your car breaks down. You need to repair it. You got an emergency fund. You prepared for that. You're a prepper. So maybe the question shouldn't be, are you a prepper? Because a lot of us are in various different ways. Some of us are preparing for an emergency. Some of us are preparing for the end of the world. Some of us are preparing simply for our car in case it breaks down. Some of us might even be preparing on an impromptu trip. Because sometimes I keep stuff in the car, like blankets, pillows, that sort of thing, food. It's like, oh, if I go on an impromptu road trip, I am prepared. There's enough stuff in the car for the road trip, and I don't actually need to go anywhere or pick anything up. That kind of thing. So the question isn't, or shouldn't be, maybe, are you a prepper? Is, what should you be preparing for? I think that's probably the question. And I don't see the harm of maybe stocking up a little bit of food. No need to go crazy. Well, let's say you fill your pantry. What's that? Probably 2 weeks worth of food. So if tomorrow lockdown strikes, well, I don't have to go anywhere. I can stay at home for 2 weeks and eat out of the pantry and then replenish it. or it's like it's just basic preparing. It's not that you are sitting there thinking, yo, I'm gonna have to live in my cellar, or I need a bunker, or I need a piece of land. Like most of us can't afford that, right? So when we think about preppers, we think about those kind of things, but realistically, those things for about 90% of the population is impossible. Who's got the financial cash, the spare money? I said financial cash, that doesn't make any sense. The spare cash, should I say, to prep like that. Like it's not feasible for all of us. But there's no harm in having a little bit of foresight and preparing for things that could happen. You're not investing a lot of money into it, and if pandemic taught us anything, is that at a moment's notice, things can start going wrong, and things become like there's shortages and less things available, and we're stuck in a lockdown, and jobs security goes out the window, and all of that really. So what's the harm in us preparing somewhat by just being clever with things like this, like stocking up when things are cheap and putting a bit of money aside for a rainy day fund, and eh, talking about vehicles, like having your car, make sure it's all checked. Keep the stuff in the car for the car in case you break down and that sort of thing. um, I don't see the harm in any of that. And yeah, I don't think I really talked about much here. We're just kind of exploring the prepping area. Now, I'd say obviously I started off with the question, "Are you a prepper?" And then I proceeded to tell you that you are one, if you do any of those things. And the question is, am I a prepper? I'd say yes, a very casual one. Like there's some things that I think about and plan for that aren't necessarily ever gonna happen, but no harm in planning, no harm in being prepared. So yeah, I'd say I'm a casual prepper. And yeah, if you wanna discuss more about prepping, things like the buzzwords, the bug out bags and inch bags and all that kind of stuff. Where would you go? And those kind of questions. If you're interested in discussing any of those, then you know, drop a comment below this, or leave a review, or email me, or contact me on Twitter or Instagram. And yeah, man, we'll have a chat. We will cover some more topics if you guys are interested in hearing about them. Thank you very much for listening. Take care. Goodbye.